Buddha said, there is no self. What does it mean? No self. Yeah, anatta, one of the major concepts in Buddhism. So how do you understand the no self? We have our mind, we have our body, but why do they say no self or non-self? So you can see this body. You have your mind that's constantly functioning, but why Buddha said no self?
우리는 의식의 세계에서 산다고요.
We live in the world of our consciousness.
의식에서는 모든 것이 순환하게 된다고요.
In our consciousness, everything is changing and flowing constantly.
부처님도 왕가에 태어나가지고 영원할 줄 알았다고요.
So think about the Shakyamuni Buddha. He was born and raised in a palace. That kind of status appeared to be permanent.
오늘날 성문에 올라가서 생로병사가 있는 줄 알았다고.
But when Buddha was in his teens, he deeply realized that there is a changing aspect of our life: birth, old age, sickness, and death.
인생이 너무나 허망하게 느껴져요.
He felt very empty, and
나도 결국 그 길을 걸어야 된다는 생각.
probably Buddha thought, I have to pass through all those changing aspects.
근데 수도승을 보고 발심이 일어났다고.
But one day he happened to see one monastic, one seeker for the truth, and a lot of aspiration start to arise in his mind.
이 문제를 해결하지 않고는 모든 것이 허망하기만 했다고.
Without solving these fundamental, primary questions in our life, nothing can become very meaningful. That's what Buddha thought.
그래서 6년간 깊은 명상에 들어갔다고.
So Buddha left the palace and searched for truth, deep in meditation in Himalayas for 6 years.
근데 의식의 세계만 있는 줄 알았다고.
But he thought about our mind is composed of the various kinds of consciousness. That's what he naively thought.
깊은 명상의 세계 들으니까 의식의 세계를 넘어섰다고.
But when he was really in deep samadhi, then he realized that more deeper inner core of our consciousness.
의식의 세계를 넘어서 이렇게 들어가니까 깊은 무의식의 세계가 있음을 알았다.
There is some kind of a core universal consciousness that beyond consciousness and subconsciousness.
그래서 부처님께 한 소식을 깨달으셨다.
That's what he realized. He was awakened to our true inner core.
딱 깨닫고 보니까 현실로 움직이는 건 전부 다 업의 인과에 의해서 움직여가고 있는 걸 알았다.
When he realized that universal consciousness or his true self, he also perceived that everything is working and operating on the karmic principle of cause and effect.
근데 그것을 다른 말로 표현 연기법으로 표현해 주셨다고. 인연의 법으로서 말씀해 주셨다고.
So he expressed the reality that as a 연기법, 연기, 연 means indirect cause plus the direct cause. Yeah.
그런데 그 연기법은 근본을 들어가니까 아무것도 무였다고. 나 존재 자체도 없는 거라고.
So everything is constantly changing depending on arising, depending on something else. So nothing is there is no substance in everything.
나 없는 것을 아무것도 없는 무아의 세계인데 그 질서 전역에 알고 움직여가는 이 법칙이 있음을 알았다.
Whether in our true self or in everything, there is no substance, independent fixed substance, but it is not voidness. Based on that core, everything is working in a very orderly cosmic way.
불교의 핵심은 거기에 있다.
So this is the essence of the Buddha Dharma.
그렇게 명상을 하고 선을 하고 연부를 하고 모든 것이 결국 무엇이냐면 그 하나를 깨닫기 위해서 들어가는 거라고.
We can think about why we meditate, why we chant, why we study scripture. It is eventually to realize that core, so-called universal consciousness or not self.
의식의 세계에서는 절대 그 세계를 짐작할 수가 없다.
In our normal, regular level of consciousness, we cannot fathom, we cannot guess that universal consciousness, our inner core.
그리고 우리 의식의 세계에서 잠재 의식으로 들어가고
From the level of consciousness to the deeper level of consciousness or subconsciousness, we have to go into.
잠재 의식의 더 깊은 무의식 세계로 들어가야 된다.
And then when we go to subconsciousness, the deeper and the deeper, then we will come closer.
그것은 누가 말로 해서 알 수 있는 것이 아니라고.
This so-called our universal consciousness or our original face is indescribable. It is beyond our verbal expression.
그것은 깊은 명상을 통해서 체험하는 거라고.
Only after when we go in deep meditation, it is something we can taste. We can get the
천만
glimpse
가지
of that.
경전을 다 밝혔어도 그것은 가르쳐 줄 수 없다.
Even though we may read hundreds of thousands of scripture, we cannot get close.
다만 안내를 해줄 뿐이라.
But they are just a guide. They are just a guidepost that
체험은 자기가 하는 거예요.
ultimately really. When it comes to experience, it is our own thing. It is something we have to do that for ourselves.
명상의 핵심은 생각은 너머 세계로 들어가는 거라고.
So from one perspective, though, we can say the essence of a meditation is going beyond our thinking mind.
우리는 일상생활에 너무나 많은 것을 보고 듣고 이 감각의 세계에서 산다고.
Think about how we live in our daily life. We see, we hear, we talk, etc. We live in the world of sensory experience. That's where we live.
과학문이 발달 세계일수록 더 이렇게 현란해지게.
Especially in these days when the science, material civilization is highly advancing, our mind is more and more exposed to sensory experience.
우리 의식의 세계가 자꾸 좁아진다.
In other words, the scope, our consciousness become narrower, narrower. It's hard to find our true self.
그렇기 때문에 명상을 해야 된다.
That's why we more desperately need to practice meditation more.
깊은 체험의 세계에 들어가면 무아를 할 수 있다.
Only when we go very deep in our meditation, we can see into the reality of no self, which is ultimate
그것을
reality.
무아라고도 했고요.
Sometimes it's called the no self or anatta,
진여라고도 했고요.
or sometimes jinya, which means thusness, things as they are,
진공이라고도 했고요.
or some master labeled it as a true emptiness,
열애라고도 했고요.
or yore, or tathagata, neither coming nor going.
여러 가지 표현을 하셨다.
There are a lot of expressions for that reality,
핵심은 하나라고요.
but the essence is just one.
개체적인 나에서 전체 세계로 들어가는 거라고.
From individual self to universal self. That is the essence as well as the process. Yeah. Okay, the next question. What is mindfulness? What is the relationship between mindfulness and meditation and Buddhism?
불교의 핵심은 뭘까요?
What if you're asked what is the essence of Buddhism? How would you reply?
84,000가지 법문을 해주셨어요.
Actually, Buddha, for 49 years, he gave a lot of Dharma talks.
그걸 딱 하나로 표현한 거예요.
But when it is condensed in one sentence, what could that be?
마음, 심자 하나라.
Mind and heart. 심 means it's translated in English, mind and heart. That is what the Buddha revealed.
일체가 유심조. 이 마음으로 된 줄을
Everything is of our mind's creation is the essence of the Buddha's teaching.
불교의 핵심은 마음의 원리를 아는 거라고.
So the principle of the Buddhism is to realize, the path of Buddhism is to realize our true mind.
몸이랑은 업으로 뭉쳐진 하나의 집합체라고.
Think about this body. This is the aggregate of our karma. Because of our karma, this is the consequence of our karmic action.
업의 관계 속에서 움직이면서 살아간다고.
So when we use this body in our life, so we create karma, and karma is created by this body.
그 몸을 움직이는 원리가 어디든 마음에 들어있다고.
What moves? What make this body function? That's our mind.
그렇기 때문에 마음을 챙기지 않고 불교 공부를 할 수가 없다고.
So without becoming mindful of using our mind, that we cannot practice Buddhism.
불교의 시작은 마음을 챙기는 데부터 시작된다고.
So the starting of the Buddhist practice is take care of our mind. That area of mindness is the starting.
원불교를 창건하신 소태단 대종사께도 수행은 마음을 챙기는 데부터 시작된다고 그랬다.
So our founding master Sotaesan also mentioned the essence of our spiritual practice lies in take care of our mind, mindfulness.
마음은 아무 흔적도 없다고.
There is no smell vestige. It is beyond our sensory experience, the essence of our mind.
흔적 없는 가운데 무수한 생각이 일어난다고.
Even the essence is empty. All kind of things, especially all kind of wandering thoughts arise from that empty nature of our mind.
그 마음을 흐트러뜨리면서 우리가 산다고. 그렇기 때문에.
How can we describe our life? We just scatter our life when we use our body and mind.
그래서 마음을 딱 챙겨야 된다고.
So collecting our mind, taking care of our mind is the starting point of
그것이
mindfulness.
마치 아이를 기르는 것과 같다고.
It's exactly like taking care of our babies.
아이가 막 태어나면
Think about one person just give birth to a child.
한눈을 팔지 않고 계속 지켜봐야 된다.
So the mother cannot keep the eyes off the baby.
지켜보지 않으면 아이는 위험에 빠뜨릴 수가 있다.
Without watchfulness or mindfulness, that baby may be in danger.
끊임없이 이렇게 살펴본다고.
Continuous mindfulness or watchfulness is how mother take care of its baby.
아이가 조금 성장하게 되면
When the baby grows a little big,
대체적으로 쭉 영역을 쳐놓고 이렇게 살펴본다고.
so the baby can wander around, move around in a certain area in one's room, but we cannot let go of our watchfulness.
그래서 사람이 성장하게 되면 성인이 되면
But eventually the baby becomes an adult.
스스로 살아갈 길을 알게 된다고.
That person, that baby, know by itself how to live, how to move without the mother's help.
처음 마음 공부를 하는 사람은 마치 아기 어린아이가 태어날 때 살피듯이 딱 마음을 살펴봐야 돼.
If you think you are a beginning practitioner, you need to take care of your mind constantly, mindfully.
잠깐만 마음을 놓아버리면 이 마음이 사방팔방으로 막 돌아다닌다고.
If you are beginning practice, if you let go of the rein, the grip of your mindfulness, your mind will wander around in all directions.
그래서 유념, 마인드풀니스가 중요하다.
That's why mindfulness is very important.
그런데 여기서 중요한 것은 마음을 챙기면 근본 마음의 깊이를 깨닫는 데 초점을 맞춰야 된다.
But even though we become mindful in some area, that direction of mindfulness should be practiced together with understanding the nature of mind. It should be practiced in tandem.
깨달음의 깊이로 들어가지 못하면
without realizing the nature of our mind,
오히려 마음을 챙기는 나를 강화시킬 수 있다.
mindfulness sometimes becomes very bothersome or annoying. It distracts your mind sometimes.
그래서 우리 마음을 챙길 때 늘 무아, 내가 없는 자리를 비춰봐서 삶을 비춰봐야 된다고.
So if your practice becomes very mature, if you practice mindfulness in some area, it should be based on no self, on your true self.
우리 마음은 이 어떤 것을 규격을 지키를 좋아한다고, 틀을 지키를 좋아한다고.
The tendency of our average mind would like to have some format, some direction, some fixed idea. It is how our average mind works.
그래서 마음을 챙기되 흔적 없는 마음자리의 바탕에서 유념을 할 줄 알아야 된다고요.
So when we practice mindfulness, it should be based on our true nature or no mind. We should practice mindfulness in a very natural way.
그 핵심을 육조대사가 응무, 소주, 이생, 기심으로 했다.
So this,
마음을 내서 쓰되 주차가 없는 마음을 내서 쓰라고 그러시다.
so in one sentence, the sixth patriarch, Master Huineng, expressed in this way: use your mind without dwelling any thought. Give rise to a mind without dwelling in any thoughts.
금강경의 핵심이라고.
This is also the essence of a Diamond Sutra.
그렇기 때문에 공부하는 사람은 마음을 챙기지 않고 공부할 수가 없다.
So without mindfulness, we cannot make our practice mature.
특히 소태산 대종사께서는 마음 챙김, 유념을 굉장히 중요하게 생각하셨다.
Particularly in our tradition, our founding master really emphasized the mindfulness.
과학문명이 발달되면 우리는 엄청난 위험 속에서 살게 된다고.
Our mind can be in danger in this materialistic society as science technology is constantly advancing.
한순간 마음을 챙기지 않으면 엄청난 재앙이 올 수도 있다.
In this rapidly changing society, without paying attention, our life sometimes can be in danger.
그렇기 때문에 현대를 살아가는 모든 사람에게 있어서는 마음 챙김이 대단히 중요하다.
So let's keep that in mind when we live in this contemporary competitive society. Then the mindfulness in some areas is really essential. Yeah. I hear that there are different types of breathing in meditation practice. What are those? How do I know which one is right for me?
우리 생명이 어디에 달려있냐고.
Where is our life or life force?
호흡이 중요하다고. 호흡이 중요하다고.
Breathing. Breathing is very important.
근데 여기서 중요한 것이 있다고. 우리는 그냥 호흡하면 산소를 들이키고 산소를 내뿜고 이런 생각을 한다. 보통 사람.
Regular people understanding breathing, take in the oxygen, take out some air. That's the regular people's understanding of breathing.
근데 우리 생명을 유지하기도 하지만은 깊은 우주의 이 진리 원리가 그 호흡을 통해서 내 몸에 왔다 갔다.
But when we carefully investigate the nature of our breathing, actually the essence of the universal truth is in our breathing, breathing in and out.
그렇기 때문에 호흡은 모든 것을 하는 사람이 호흡이 대단히 중요하다. 모든 일을 하는 사람이 있어서.
So whether practitioner or not, in whatever we do, breathing is very critical.
운동하는 사람,
To the athletes,
춤추는 사람,
to the dancer,
산행할 때,
when we hike,
일을 할 때,
when we work hard,
이 호흡을 잘 조절하는 것이 중요하다.
breathing properly, breathing well is very important.
산을 올라갈 때 호흡하고
When you see
내려올
the
때
breath when you hike to the top of the mountain is different from the breathing when you
내려올 때
climb
호흡하고
down.
다른 거라고.
The breathing is a little different when you carefully observe.
올라갈 때 호흡을 내려올 때 호흡으로 하게 되면 몸이 굉장히 힘들어진다.
if you keep the same pattern of breathing that you use when you climb up to the mountain, we use the same pattern of the breathing when you climb down, your body becomes easily
운동하는데 호흡이
exhausted.
대단히 중요하다고.
In whatever exercise or sport, we have to be
특히
mindful of our breath.
명상하는 데 있어서 호흡이 중요하다고.
When it comes to the meditation, breathing is the most important thing.
근데 여러 가지 호흡법이 있다.
There are a lot of meditation techniques how to breathe properly.
근데 이제 간단히 하면 호흡법이 두 가지가 있다.
But we can classify into categories, roughly speaking.
내쉬는 숨을 길게 쉬느냐, 들이쉬는 숨을 길게 쉬느냐, 이 두 가지라고.
Depending on the tradition, some traditions recommend to exhale longer than inhale. Some another tradition recommend the opposite.
요가를 할 때 몸을 그 이완시킬 때는 어떻게 해야 되냐고 물어봐.
So when you practice the yoga, when you relax your body, what's your breathing pattern? How do you breathe when you relax?
몸을 이완시킬 때는 내쉬는 숨을 길게 내뿜어야 돼.
When we relax our body, we usually exhale very, very long. When we relax our body, that is the time when you exhale.
염불할 때는 어떻게 해야 되냐?
How about
찬팅할 때.
your breathing when you chant?
마찬가지로 찬팅할 때는 들이쉬면 짧게 강하게 내쉬는 숨은 길게 내쉬면서 하는 거라.
It is the same. When you practice chanting meditation, your exhalation is longer than inhalation and very thin. Your inhalation is shorter and a little strong.
몸을 이완시킬 때는 호흡을 길게 내뿜고.
So relaxation is related with exhalation.
안을 기를 축적할 때는 들이쉬는 길고 강하게 하고.
But when you try to conserve your energy, then you need to inhale longer.
탄전의 기를 축적할 때는 그래서 대종사님께서는 들이쉬는 숨은 약간 길고 강하게 하라고 그러셨죠.
So particularly in order to accumulate a lot of good energy in your energy center at your body, you need to inhale a little longer than exhalation.
근데 호흡은 사람 따라 다 다르다고요.
But this is a general guideline depending on the practitioner. Things can be very
태생적으로
different.
천연적으로 태생적으로 호흡이 긴 사람이 있고 짧은 사람이 있다.
Some people are born with a kind of a physical constitution. Their inhalation, exhalation is very long and thin.
몸의 상태에 따라 조금 달라질 수
It
있다.
depends on their body's condition.
그렇기 때문에 그 몸의 상태 따라서 호흡 조절은 그때 조금씩 달라질 수 있다.
So even though it's the same person, depending on our bodily condition, our breathing in and out should be a little flexible.
초보자가 공부할 때는 호흡이 그래서 상당히 중요하다.
Especially if you think you're beginning practitioner, you need to be aware of your breathing.
근데 공부해 가면서 호흡에 너무나 얽매이면 안 된다.
But as your practice go mature, you need to forget about your breathing gradually.
호흡은 뭐 때문에 하면 일심을 집중시키기 위해서 호흡을 조절하는 거라.
Why they recommend to be aware of our breathing when we practice? It is to stay centered without wandering thoughts. This is the expedient means.
마음 하나를 잘 챙기기 위해서 그렇게 하는 거라.
It is to collect one mind, to reveal our original mind or one single mindedness.
핵심은 마음을 챙기는 데 있다고.
The essence is not breathing. The essence is collecting our mind, taking care of our mind.
다른 말로 표현하면 일심을 모으는 데 있다고.
Collecting one single mind, one pointed mind is the essence.
깨달음의 세계에 들어가고
Through this direction, we can see into our true self or realization.
진리의 세계에 들어가는데
In order to realize the ultimate reality,
열쇠가 딱 하나 있다고.
there is just one single key.
그것이 뭐냐고.
What could that essential key? In order to attain enlightenment, what is the best path?
일심이라고.
One-pointed mind. One-pointed mind. This
일심,
is the direction as well as the nature of our true self.
일심이 진리를 뚫고 들어가는
One
열쇠.
mind is the key to penetrate into the ultimate reality.
그렇기 때문에 핵심은 거기에 있기 때문에 이 호흡은 챙기되 낮은 호흡까지도 놓아버려야 돼.
So in the beginning, you need to become aware of your breathing, inhalation, etc. So as your practice go more mature, you need to take care of your mind primarily instead of your breathing.
살아있는 모든 사람 자동적으로 호흡이 들어왔다 나갔다
As long
쉬게
as
됩니다.
people, you are alive, whether you are conscious or not, you breathe.
깊은 명상의 세계에 들어가면 몸이 스스로 알아서 호흡을 조절해서 왔다 갔다 한다.
If you go very deep in meditation, the breathing will take care of itself. You do not have to pay attention to your breathing.
몸은 하나의 통과 같이
Our breathing or breath is just the
호흡은-
step that we need to pass.
호흡은 깊게 들어왔다 나갔다 자연스럽게 하는 거라고.
So let the breathing very deep and natural. That's the basic principle.
그러나 초보자에게서는 호흡이 상당히 중요하다고.
So, but for the beginning practitioner, so you need to be watchful how your breathing is.
그래서 부처님께서 초보자에게 수식관, 호흡관을 이야기하셨다.
That's why Shakyamuni Buddha, for the beginning practitioners, you needed to count 1 to 3 according to the inhalation and the exhalation to be more mindful of your breathing.